What's happening, everybody? This is the Unquestionably Raw NBA podcast, and we are here after another great day of NBA basketball playoff edition. First, we're going to start off with Thunder. It's the game that just ended. The Rockets pounded the Thunder. It is what it is. You know, Lance, I'm going to you first. Thoughts on the Rockets and the Thunder game tonight?
The first thing that came out for me, obviously, I think the Beverly performance. I mean, I would never think he could go 21 and 10. I know he's a capable corner three guy, but I just didn't think he could do something like that, especially on a stage like this. I mean, I know he can defend very well, but that stood out to me. And also the Thunder putting their bigs on Harden Island. I just thought that was really a hurtful. They need to do a better job with those switches. There's no reason that Cantor should ever be guarding Harden out there alone like that. So
what about? I mean, a lot of times it was Adams as well having to guard Harden out there on an island.
But honestly, we've seen Adams do a decent job. We saw him do a decent job against Curry last year. I know it's not ideal, but I mean he's somewhat capable. But I mean. Yeah, it shouldn't
Curry
be
was
done
hurt, but Curry was hurt last year.
Yeah, but even then, I still think he'd be faster than Adams, anyways.
Yeah, that is true.
And I love Adams,
but Curry's not the fastest guy. I will say that, and everybody knows I'm a Curry guy. He's my favorite player, but no, he's not the fastest guy. But neither is Harden. Harden's not the fastest, quickest guy.
No, he just has a quick step. Yeah, it's deadly quick step.
Absolutely. Gonzo, I'm going to you now. What are your thoughts on this Thunder and Rockets series, Game 1?
Wonderful win by the true MVP. Excellent team play. Patrick Beverly, 21, I think, in 21 and 10. James Harden, 37, 9 and 7. You got Clint Capella, I think, with 14 and 7. I think Nene had 15 points, I think 7 for 8 shooting. Just an overall good game for the Houston Rockets. I think one thing that we take for granted with Houston Rockets, we say that they're great. We know they're a great shooting team and they run a tremendous pace on offense, but they're a good defensive team. Several times you notice in the game, like James Harden was playing good one-on-one defense on some of those possessions. So he's at least putting effort. There is a difference with James Harden. I want to give credit to him for that. Just an overall good team effort. And for those of you who keep saying that OKC doesn't have teammates or Westbrook doesn't have good players, I don't think that's the case. I think it's more or less, the more I look at it, I think it's kind of bad coaching. Because if you look at the bench, like if you look at the bench, almost nobody really played a lot of minutes except for Grant and Cantor. Like, they're not using the rest of these guys. Like, why isn't Sabonis getting more than just 4 minutes? Why isn't McDermott getting more than just 3 minutes in the fourth quarter in garbage time? McDermott has some type of playoff experience playing with the Bulls, so he should be able to get into some of those games a little bit, at least get double digits in minutes. Just the overall great team win.
Now, I want to say this about McDermott. I know he had some problems with the knee. They were talking about it today. He missed some games leading into the playoffs. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe not. I don't know. So I guess we'll have to see going forward. When you get smacked like this, though, maybe we'll see Doug in Game 2 a little bit more, because they're going to need something from that bench. That bench was not
from scratch after you get blown out like this. You got to definitely something up.
Absolutely, and I think that is kind of the difference with these two teams. You know, the coaching I think is big. I'll take D'Antoni over what's his name any day right now.
Ooh, what's his name?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is right now. Billy Donovan. Yeah, I'll take him over Billy Donovan any day right now. Sammy, I'm going to you now. What are your thoughts on this on the Rockets and Thunder tonight?
Basically, don't mess with Patrick Beverly. Like, when Adam took him down, that's where the game turned, and everything just went downhill for the Thunder after that.
Yes. Now I got to ask this: was it a good screen?
Yes.
I think that's a good question. I liked the screen. I thought it was legal.
Yeah, I don't argue that. I just, like I told you, it's my dad's favorite player, so I root for the guy when he's not playing my team. But you hate to see a man go down like that.
Yes, absolutely, yes. So I'm going to go back to you, Gonzo. What adjustments do you think the Thunder need to make?
One thing I think the problem is with the Thunder is that, I mean, I understand why you have Roberson in for defense, but you got a lot of guys that are playing at the same time who just kind of clog the paint. I would utilize, me personally, I would probably utilize Sabonis a little bit more, like on pick and pops to open up the lanes. I just think it's not enough. It's not enough floor spacing. Everything seems bunched up for OKC, and you're forcing Russ to try to make a lot of tough shots, tough layups, and sometimes he just takes a lot of ill-advised shots. He just makes dumb decisions. So it's just one of those things where, like I predicted in the show the other day, that it's going to be a sweep. I just honestly think it's going to be a sweep. I think the Rockets are too much. It's too much chemistry. Too much chemistry. And then you got a guy like Patrick Beverly on your best player, Russell Westbrook, and able to make him shoot and make him play like he did tonight. It's going to be really tough for OKC to score points.
I agree, but I think the key is, I think if healthy, you got to get Doug out there a little more. Run some sets, let him get some shots up, because you need those 3-point shots to fall. Lance, what adjustments do you think OKC can make in game 2?
Well, like I said, I'm not a fan of the whole switching thing, and I know that happens sometimes, just because on picks, but they really got to shore that up. I mean, I don't know. I want to see Oladipo with the ball in his hands more than just like getting a shot from the corner. I want to see him like actually handling the ball. I know it's not really in their offense, but I mean, you got to do something different. This is the playoffs, a whole nother monster. You're going to slow it down. I don't think Westbrook's going to get all the same looks he usually does. And I don't think you're going to get the same calls either all the time, especially going against Harden.
Absolutely not. I think you can you can put Oladipo in situations where he can handle the ball when Westbrook's on the bench. I think that's when you put the ball in Oladipo's hand. Because Samaj Christon, that's not the guy. You don't want the ball in his hands. He hit his bank 3. Give him props for that. But that's not really the guy that's going to lead you. And I've been saying it for a while now. Like, I know the plus-minus numbers are there with Russell Westbrook. The plus, they're great when he's in there. They're trash when he's out. I kind of attribute that to backup point guard. If they had a backup point guard like a Sean Livingston or a Patty Mills or someone like that, you would see those numbers change drastically. They just don't have a competent backup, and I think that hurts more than anything because they've got good offensive players in that second unit. You got Canner, man. You have Sabonis can score. Doug can get some buckets, but they don't have anybody that gets them the basketball if Russ is out of the game. I think that's where Oladipo can come in. Use him in those situations. That's what I would do. The offseason, they're going to have to address that because I think this Thunder team could be pretty good if you upgrade at that point guard, get a little bit more defensive depth on that bench. I think they could be really, really good. Sammy, I'm going to you now. What adjustments could you see Oklahoma City making in this game?
I'm with you too.
For game 2.
Yeah, I'm with you guys, and also I think that the league knows Russ's game. They know what he's going to be after. They know the triple-double. So they've really got to just adjust for that and move the ball away from him, in my opinion, because he's not going to – if he's got the ball all the time, they're going to be coming for him, and the league knows it. So.
Absolutely. Do kind of like what the Warriors do to him when they play him defensively. Force him into contested jump shots.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think what the Rockets did tonight, and I think that's the advantage the Rockets do have because you have a guy like Patrick Beverly you can put on him. You can force him into contested jump shots. Bev is going to be really physical with him, so we'll see what happens. Now I'm going to go to Gonzo first on this one. Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics, and yes, Gonzo predicted the Bulls would win this series. Bulls get the first game. Gonzo, thoughts?
Great rebounding by the Bulls. Lopez did excellent on the boards. Bobby Portis, 19-9, 9 rebounds. Jimmy Butler, 30-9. Just the overall good team effort. I think from D-Wade we got 11, 6, and 5. Even Rondo 12. I think he had 12, 6, and maybe 5 or something like that. Just the overall good team effort for the Bulls. I just think that the thing that's going to hurt Boston the most, I think that it's kind of one of those things where you see a person enough, you kind of develop a rapport with them, so you kind of know exactly what kind of schemes they're gonna run. And I think that the matchup between Isaiah Thomas and Rondo is not really a matchup per se because we know Isaiah Thomas is going to score, but I think Rondo makes it difficult for him to score. I think Jimmy Butler's a problem sticking anybody on the floor, whether it's Crowder, Bradley. I think Lopez is a decent post defender. D Wade is a little pesky at times. Um, I just what I want from the Bulls the most, and I think will benefit them more. I want to see Mirotic get hot. Because that'll kind of tell me if I can see Mirotic if Mirotic gets hot, it might make the series over a lot sooner than what I predicted. But if they're playing like this is.
But you know what, Gonzo? The big thing there is if.
That's the biggest thing.
If with Nico.
Like Mirotic had a really, really good last month. And it's like the playoffs have started, and today he's 1 for 9. He looks like some guy who got out of the D League today. So I don't, that's the if. Like I said, that's the reason why we'll probably go 7 games because of maybe Mirotic and Zipster. They missed a lot of open shots today. I'm talking about wide open mid-range shots, wide open threes. I think Zipster missed like 2 layups right underneath the basket. I just want them to do a better job of offensive rebounding and being able to get a lot of those putbacks because they missed a lot of putback opportunities too. Jimmy Butler did as well early on in the first half. He missed maybe like 3 easy layups after getting the rebound.
Absolutely, yes.
The rebounding, like I said, scoring, second chance points, and just Mirotic, I need him hot because if he gets hot, this series is over much quicker than 7 games.
And the only thing Nico can do is make threes. He's not beating you any other way.
Oh, another thing too.
Unless you,
I want to also give a shout out to Isaiah Thomas with everything that's been on his back. Much condolence and everything to his family. You know what I'm saying, and friends and everybody who's affected by the situation. But a shout out to him as well. He played an excellent game with all of that pressure on his back.
Yeah, he was fantastic today. Yes, yes,
fantastic.
He was great. Lance, what are your thoughts on this Bulls Celtics game?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on the Isaiah Thomas thing. He came out and did what he was supposed to do, and even more, because if he came out and played a little subpar, you could understand, man. That's a lot to weigh on somebody, a day after something like that happened. Very delicate situation. Kudos to him and the city of Boston for how they treated him. Like as soon as he got on the court, everyone exploded. I loved it. But with saying all that, I just thought, I don't know. I don't want to sound cliche, but I swear I just didn't see enough grit out there tonight, man. Or this afternoon. I just didn't see it. Like, I know there was some Bradley was scoring. Horford had some moments, but I just didn't see enough grit. And I mean, obviously it shows by the rebounding. I know they've always had trouble with that, it seems. And I swear I can't take them serious until they get someone that can protect the rim. It's hard for me. They play great team defense, but I still need to see someone down there on the block that can intimidate a little bit. And Horford's just not that guy. He never has been. So it's not fair to expect him to do so now in his career.
So let me ask you this, Lance. I know the talk has been this Boston team is the worst #1 seed of all time.
Wow.
Are you with them on that? That Boston is the worst #1 seed of all time?
I can't say that because my Mavs lost in the first round to the Warriors. So
yeah, that's true.
And but they were a lot better offensively, and they had an MVP on their team. So I guess you could technically say they're better. I mean, they had a lot more wins. I think they had 67 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the big, everybody who knows me knows I'm more of an eye test guy than a stats person.
Right.
But one thing I'll say, the stats do say that Boston this year, if you look at all these #1 seeds, their average win margin, like their average win, is the lowest of any number one seed. So there's that. I'm not going to go as far as to say they're the worst number one seed. I think that's.
Well, I mean, they only have 53 wins, and usually the number one seed recently has at least 55, 56 or something like that. At least from what I can remember.
But in fairness to all these teams, I'm not just going to say the East. There's been injuries in the East,
right?
The missed games. So I don't want to say that they're the. I don't want to go out and say that this is the worst team I've ever seen. I think that's kind of unfair. But we'll see how it goes. Sammy, what were your thoughts on this Bulls and Celtics?
Yeah, something that Lance said. I kind of looked at the stats and looked at Horford had 19 points and no blocks, which I thought was pretty interesting in 40 minutes. So
yes,
I only actually was able to catch the second half. I was kind of following along with the score, and it was so close even at half. Jimmy Butler, man. That was insane, that second half that he had. And it's just kind of, you root for Isaiah Thomas because of what's been going on with him. And, I kind of hated to see him get the loss today. But I have to say, if we're going to root for a first-round upset, I'm going to go with this one over my own team.
Yes. I watching the game, I think the biggest thing was the rebounding. Especially on the second chance points, the offensive rebounding. The Bulls absolutely killed the Celtics, which is not a surprise because people who've been following the Celtics, they have not been the greatest rebounding team all year. They've gotten killed on that end of the floor, and I think it kind of bit them in the ass tonight. Excuse the language, but they're gonna have to really work on that. And I think that's where, as Lance said, a guy like a Nerlens Noel could have, a guy like him would. Help that. But that's here nor there. They didn't make a trade to bring in a guy, so it is what it is. You don't really want to go that far and say, well, they didn't make the move.
Keith, I just want to say it's not necessarily relevant to the game, but it is relevant to the Bulls.
Hold on, Lance. Lance, you called me Keith.
Oh, wow.
Keith is the Celtics fan. Yes.
Sorry. But this is bad.
Stuff,
See, look, Gonzo, this is bad if the Bulls win. You know why? It'll validate all the bad moves they made this past offseason. So maybe we don't want them to win.
And Pete made it. Pete, I don't know if he retweeted or he said it, but I think it's 5 of the last 7 years. They've, the last 7 times in the playoffs, they've won game 1 and lost. But I had to throw this out there. 4 of those 5 losses were to LeBron James. LeBron James isn't coming out in this series. Bulls are going to be okay. I'm swaying now more towards the Bulls are going to win this series. I think this is a really tough match. It's matchups. I picked it. I picked Celtics in 6 originally, but I think this is going to be a tough series for them. And you know how it goes: NCAA tournament, NBA playoffs. Matchups are big.
Yep.
And I think this is a tougher match. I think no offense, Alana's going to hate me for this one. The Heat would have been an easier matchup for the Celtics. I'm going to throw that out there. She's probably going to roast me at some point.
Wow.
She's going to roast me. She's going to roast me probably at some point for that comment, but I do believe the Heat would have been an easier matchup for the Celtics.
I still think the Heat deserved it more, but
they did. I'm not going to fault you. I'm not going to hate on that. That's a true statement. The Bulls absolutely had no business in the playoffs. And these bums are going to end up with a first-round upset win. Go figure. Now, to the first matchup today. Lance, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Wizards and the Hawks.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch this from point A to point Z because, a lot was going on, had a cookout. But from what I saw, Millsap was getting destroyed. That's what I recalled seeing. Morris, even from the first couple of possessions in the game, I swear he got poked in the face like 3 times and they didn't call anything. And
yes, he did.
I was just like, it's just gonna be a bad day for him. I just saw that. I was like, it's probably gonna be a bad day for him. The Gortat dunk. That's what I recall from that game. Other than that, it wasn't anything stick out except for, like you said, third quarter John Wall performance.
Oh yes.
Something excited to look forward to for the Wizards.
Absolutely. Gonzo, what were your thoughts on this Wizards and Hawks game?
I predicted the series to go 6, but John Wall, a lot of John Wall, and I think he's making the case for being the best point guard in the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely,
What he
yes.
does, what he does on the offensive end, the way he distributes the ball, the fact that he plays defense, he's starting to knock down a mid-range shot. He's just really improved his game. What he had, I think, 32 and 14 today.
Yes, he did. Yes, 32.4
Gortat had a
assists.
double-double. Yeah, Gortat had a double-double. Markieff Morris, I think Morris 20, I think he had 21. Bill had 22. So the starters were very productive. And I think that when John Wall goes, they go. So long as he's getting out and able to get everybody else involved, I know he's going to get his 20 points, 20 plus points. I think they'll be fine in this series. I think the scary part is if they make it out of this series, they're going to need much more bench help next series.
Yes, yes, they will. Because their bench, if you know, for everybody that watched, when they had to go to the bench, that's when the Hawks made their run. The Hawks bench was much better today. You know, we'll see. It can change from game to game. We'll see. But today, the Wizards bench it didn't get the job done. Sammy, what did you think of Wizards and Hawks today?
You know, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I looked over all the scores and everything. And, you know, I'm with Gonzo on that one. You got the starters going nearly 40 minutes. They scored 75 points between them, or the three, Morris, Beal, and Wall, which was McCollum and Lillard in the Warriors-Blazers game, except they won, so that's nice. But, yeah, again, but you look at the bench, you know, they're going to need some more help because you can't expect 40 minutes, 75 points in every game.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I think it's going to be interesting. I called this in 7 games, and I think today was actually proof that this is going to go 7. As great as it looked like the Wizards play, it really was the third quarter. They were plus 10 with John Wall in the basketball game in the third quarter. In the
first half,
Hawks go away. Yeah, the Hawks are going underneath the screens. They're forcing John Wall to take that medium-range jump shot. He was not making it in 3 of the 4 quarters. He was knocking him down in the third quarter, and I think that was really the difference. If he's going to make the medium range shots when they go under that screen on the pick and roll, the Wizards are going to take this easy if he's making those. He was not consistent with it. He hit him in the third quarter. We'll see what happens. I don't think Morris is going to be this great all series long. Gortat's going to be good. I expect Beal to be good. I love Bradley Beal's game. He's so smooth. Outside of Klay Thompson, he's got the smoothest jump shot in the league. You know, form-wise. I don't want to get it twisted. Form-wise, I think he's going to be great. I just don't know about this bench. I think the problem is Brandon Jennings has just not been the same since he tore the Achilles with Detroit a year ago. So I think that's the problem. He's not. You can't rely on him. They may have to go. They may have to go to Trey Burke. I hate saying that, but Burke has had his moments this year. I think the last game he had like 25, 26, 27 points. Burke's had his moments, but I'm almost at the point where, like, is Burke – he can't be any worse than Brandon Jennings, who's been awful. He's been terrible, you know. So I think that's what you got to do if you're the Wizards. I think you may have to go to Trey Burke off the bench. You got to get something from Bogdanovic. You know, you want him to go out there and get double figures points, you know. But I think with the Hawks, Howard didn't do much today, you know, and I thought we would get more out of him, but it was still close. And I think that's what's scary. Millsap, like you said, Millsap had his, you know, he the start of the game, I mean, he was getting popped in the face, not getting calls and all that good stuff.
That's disrespectful to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Millsap's an all-star. He should get those calls. But I think this is going to be a tough series. I don't think the Hawks the Wizards are just going to run through it like Charles Barkley, like just shook his head at this series. Like, are you serious, Charles? Come on now. Stop trying to troll your audience. This is going to be a tough series. You know, we'll see what happens. But now we're going to go into the other game from today, the fourth game, Golden State and Portland. Probably the most exciting game of the day. Yeah, the final score would not indicate that, but it was a really exciting game. And Sammy, I'm going to you on this one as our Warriors person here on the panel. What were your thoughts on the Warriors and the Blazers today?
I have to bring up the fact that at the beginning of the season, the biggest question about the Warriors was their defense and the rim protection. And you look at a game like this where they had 10 blocks and you have Draymond Green putting on an absolute show. I mean, he had, 19 points, 9 assists, 3 steals, and 5 blocks. I mean,
yes.
Between him and JaVale McGee and Kevin Durant, really, I mean, there's not really a lack of defense. So that was really great to see. And it was kind of neck and neck for most of the game, but you see at the end where it just kind of the Warriors just ran away with it. They just shut him down. And I have to say that JaVale McGee is probably my favorite story of this season. And you see a guy like that, he comes in, he's kind of a joke. He's the last roster spot on the team. And you see what he's become just in his time in Oakland. I mean, he's just become this hero for Oakland fans. And for good reason. I mean, he's got high energy. He's making the blocks. He's been putting up double figures in his last several games. I mean, the guy is an actual impactful player, and it's really great to see.
Absolutely. And if for those who just, really pay attention, he was the second guy off the bench today. There's that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you don't expect to see him that early in a playoff game. Everybody's kind of shook their heads at that. But if you've been watching him play, he's been playing exceptionally well. Oh,
he's been fantastic. He's been really good for them this year. Lance, thoughts on Golden State and Portland?
That was definitely the game with all the highlights. And like I tell you all the time, Matt, my family does not care about basketball, but I swear they were watching closely with that game.
Yeah, real quick, because you and I are both Texas guys, right?
Yeah.
Your family loves football, don't they?
Yes, and baseball. They could care less about basketball. I'm the only one in the family that really gives a damn about basketball. So
yes,
if they can watch a game for just 5 minutes, I'm impressed. And they were, I mean, it was an easy game to watch as far as, a casual fan, because there was so much offense and hard hitting shots. Like the shots that I honestly do not know the player off Portland that off the bench that hit that buzzer beater. I'm sorry, I don't know his name.
That was Connaughton.
That was one of the hardest looking shots a player can make, and it was a buzzer beater. But I will say, it took Portland playing that great to even be a little close for just the first 3 quarters. They're in trouble because they're not going to be able to keep that up, man. Not like that. Not like that. That's
to add on to that. I mean, if you look at just the first half, you had between McCollum and Lillard, they had 48 of the 56 points, whereas the rest of their team was 3 of 16.
Yeah, they're not going to keep that up. I'm sorry, they cannot. So I think it will go down at 5. I still think Portland's going to win a game. It's going to happen, but it took them playing that great to just be that close for 3 quarters, and then of course they tail off in the 4th because they were hitting some very tough shots in defense of Golden State. I mean, Golden State was still playing decent defense throughout the first 3 quarters, but they were just making tougher shots. So it's not like they weren't playing defense. They were playing great defense, making them – I mean, Lillard pulled up for Stephen Curry range like 2 or 3 times and made 1 or 2 of it, and then got fouled on the one, which is kind of – I guess he got fouled. I mean –
I real quick, before I go to Gonzo, I want to talk in this. I meant to talk about this when we were discussing the Rockets, and this is something Adam Joseph put on Twitter. Shout out to Adam Joseph. This notion that you get bumped coming off of a screen as the ball handler on the pick and roll, and you get a little bump and you just throw up a shot that you had no intention of shooting, and you get to the foul line.
I hate that.
To me, I cannot stand that rule. They've got to change that.
Yeah, that's not a basketball play.
No, it's absolutely not. I take the bump. I get hit on the screen. I'm just going to throw up a shot, and foul. I get 3 shots. It's bogus.
That is not even a basketball shot. The shot they put up is not even – it resembles a basketball shot. It's just a fling.
It's exactly what it is, and we need to cut that out, and it's crap. And I think everybody here agrees with me on that. It's bullshit.
Right.
We need to stop it. Gonzo, I'm going to you. Thoughts on this Golden State and Portland game?
I figured that Golden State would start off a little tight at first, due to the fact that it's the playoffs. It's just starting. They have to find the rhythm and the groove. Second of all, it's going to be very difficult for Portland to win this series when you're expecting C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard to score 75 points together combined, and you only get 9 bench points. It just goes to show you that Golden State is such a good team, and they play real easy 1 through 3. But when they need to turn it up on defense, they can turn it up on any time, and they can turn it up almost 2 levels more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Portland's in trouble now because
Yes.
for the rest of the series now, I think the defensive awareness and pressure will be just that high coming into game 2 and so on, that Portland might not get a game this series now.
Ooh, you're calling sweet. I'm with Lance on this one, where I think Portland will get one, because I think C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard are good enough, as you saw today, for 2.5 quarters. I think they'll be good enough to get a game where Golden State, Clay, Steph, KD, they're going to miss some shots, and I think that'll be enough to get them one. I look for Portland to get game 3. It'll be a close one, but I look for Portland to get game 3. But this is what I noticed, and I said it at halftime. I think it was what we were tied at halftime. I said double figures going into the fourth. I was wrong. It was tied, but Evan Turner hit 2 threes in the third quarter. Not for me, but Mo Harkless hits a 3. Pat Connaughton hits that crazy and one shot. These guys Portland hit some ridiculously tough contested shots today. That's why I think that was the difference in the game. That's why I think it was close, longer than it should have been. Like Sammy said, I mean, what Portland, Lillard and McCollum had 48 of the 56 first half points. They were hitting tough shots. Like I see on Twitter, Curry's getting roasted by C.J. McCollum. No, Stephen Curry is not Andre Roberson on defense, but he's not god-awful. He was contesting C.J. McCollum's shots. McCollum was just hitting contested shots. Damian Lillard's hitting contested shots 6 feet behind the line. You can't do anything about that. And that's why when I saw that, I'm like, there's no way these guys sustain this, and they didn't. Defense of Portland, their role guys did step up in the third quarter. Like I said, the 3 threes from Evan Turner and Mo Harkless. My guy Noah Vonleh's making good passes, to open guys. Connaughton hits that shot at the buzzer and one. They hit some tough guys. The role guys stepped up in the third quarter, but Draymond Green was fantastic today. I mean, come on. If he's not the defense, I love Rudy Gobert. If anybody who's been listening to us, they know I love Rudy Gobert. Draymond Green's a defensive player of the year. He proved it today. Why? This guy wins games with his defense. Yes, he wins games with his defense. It's crazy to me, and it's just going to be. I just don't think Portland, like if Lillard and McCollum have to do this every single game, which they're capable, I just don't think the percentage will be that high. They have no chance. The role guys are going to have to step up. Alan Crabb's got to give him something off the bench. He hit a 3 today, got to the foul line, missed his free throws. He's got to give him something.
And also they need Nurkic back. And I'm guessing he's going to play in the series. I think he was. Was he a game time decision? Was he a game time decision today?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Because the way that I'm hearing it is there's a possibility he could come back this series, but it's not a definite that he's coming back.
I bet he comes. If he comes back, it'll be game 3 or 4.
At home, and that'll definitely get them a win.
It'll help. That's what I'm thinking. They'll probably win game 3. McCollum, Lillard, they're going to come out on absolute fire. They're going to hit everything. And Sammy knows this watching. You saw it last year in the playoffs. Those guys, Lillard and McCollum, just go nuts.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. And like you said, they weren't just like uncontested. They were making some just insanely great shots that were contested, great defense, and it didn't matter. So those guys are great, and I give them major respect. But I don't see them going past 5 games.
No. I'm going to give them a game. Yeah,
I'll be generous.
Absolutely. I'll give them a game. McCollum and Lillard are fantastic. They're good enough to give them a game. It's much like, and this is going to segue into my next topic here before we get out of here. We got a couple more things we're going to talk about. Yesterday on ESPN, I believe it was Jalen Rose who was saying a guy like Paul George can win a series for you as an underdog. Absolutely not. He can win you one game. And I think that one game was game one for the Indiana Pacers yesterday. Was a really good game, but I'm with Chauncey. Paul George can get you a game. He's not going to get you a series. Gonzo.
I mean, unless that game is game 4 or,
Yeah, exactly. Gonzo, what do you think of this Cavs and Pacers series so far? I know that was the big talk yesterday.
The Pacers, if they really want to have a chance at this series, they should have won game 1 the other day. I know Paul George won it the last second shot. First of all, I think he passed the ball to C.J. Miles a little too late. That's one. I think it was just a badly ran play. I think Nate McMillan, I don't think he thought of a good play during that timeout. Just Paul George, and it's funny that you asked a question about Paul George because I was just saying this to somebody else about a week and a half ago. Like, is Paul George just an all-star or is he a superstar? I don't think he's as good as Jimmy Butler.
No, he's not.
I honestly don't see it. Like, I can see him getting you a game, but I don't think he can actually lead a team. I think Jimmy showed something tonight, like he can be a leader. Jimmy has showed it several times this year during the course of the season that he could be a leader. And I think Paul George has way more talent, in my opinion, than Jimmy Butler has, where he should be standing out as a superstar more.
You know what
he can get you a game, but not a series.
Paul George, and obviously every last one of us on this panel would take a guy like Kawhi Leonard over Paul George and Jimmy Butler. But you know what it is, I think, with Paul? Paul has a very smooth game. It looks easy. Jimmy's game is almost like Paul, but not quite. And then Kawhi doesn't have the prettiest game in the world. And I think that's what it is. Like, Paul George has such a smooth game that it's like, oh, man, this guy's just a superstar. I don't know. He's definitely a top 15, top 20 player, but superstar, I don't know. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that. I don't know if Paul George is a superstar. He's definitely a good two-way player, but he's too inconsistent on the offensive end. I think when you look over throughout the years, the last few years, he'll have a good month here, a good month there, but he's not consistent enough. That's just me though. Lance, thoughts on this Cavs and Pacers series?
All right. Well, that wasn't even the most ridiculous thing said all day because at halftime, Chauncey Billups said Kyrie Irving was the second best player in the East. So I just fell out of my chair. I love Chauncey Billups, but my goodness, man.
Yes.
That killed me. That had Twitter raging when he said that.
I love Kyrie Irving. I think every one of us knows Kyrie Irving can ball.
Yep.
Sammy, of all people, knows what he can do.
Oh.
Can we not? Can we not?
He's a great traveler.
No. I'm getting to this, what you're going to like, though. But let me throw this out there. When LeBron James sits, does Kyrie Irving ever lead this Cavs team to a win? No, he doesn't. So he can't be the second best player in the Eastern Conference if he can't even lead his team to a win when the best player sits. How are you the second best? It just makes no sense to me.
He's not allowed to. LeBron runs that team.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, Kyrie Irving he's not a great player to me. Maybe it's blasphemy I say that, but this guy cannot lead his team to wins. It's easy to look as good as he does when you have the king on your team. LeBron James is the best player in the world. It's easy to look great when you have him. Mm-hmm. But you take him away from that team, what does Kyrie Irving puts up great numbers, but his team loses. That's what I have to say about that. I'm interested on Sammy's take on this one. Kyrie Irving, the second best player in the East.
Okay, let me be real honest. I don't follow the East that closely, but no. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah. How can he be the second best player in the East with Giannis out there?
Yeah, or any number of players that lead their team.
Yes, continue.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of somebody better than him. Like I said, I don't watch the East very often unless they're playing, on the West Coast. But I can say a definitive no on that.
Yes. I would take John Wall over Kyrie Irving. I would take Jimmy Butler over Kyrie Irving. I would take Antetokounmpo over Kyrie Irving.
I'd take Paul George.
Me. I would take Paul. I'd probably I'd take Paul. I'd take Paul
taking
George.
Miami to Game 7 that one year.
Dare I say, I would take Bradley Beal over Kyrie Irving.
Ooh.
Yes, I said it. Give me Bradley Beal over Kyrie Irving. Give
Hey.
me Bradley Beal over Kyrie Irving.
Now you're going out on a limb.
I'm going out on a limb, but give me Bradley Beal over Kyrie Irving. Neither one of them is going to lead their teams to wins, but give me the shooting of Bradley Beal. Maybe that was a troll comment right there. Now I want to get to our last topic of the evening here. Toronto and Milwaukee. Milwaukee goes on the road and they beat the snot out of Toronto. Gonzo, what's going on with the Toronto Raptors?
They are the Toronto Ruptures. They just ruptured and blew up. Like they're trash. I've told people this. I've told everybody this. I talked about this at work. The Raptors are the most fraudulent team in basketball. They made it
more than the Clippers.
Yes, because we already know the Clippers are fraudulent just by the look of them. Like we know what the Clippers do in and out. It's like it's no surprise to us. See,
so they're roommates.
Toronto fooled us by making it.
It's horrible.
Yes, exactly. And Toronto pretty much fooled us because they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So we expect them to repeat again and say, okay, the East is pretty much the same, and they'll probably make it to the Eastern Conference Finals again. Possibly even beating the Cavs, or they're going to get the Cavs a good series. Now, I want to give credit to the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo played excellent the other day. Malcolm Brogdon, 16 and 6. Greg Monroe, a double-double.
What about the rookie Thon Maker?
Thon Maker had some very good defensive plays and rebounds. He had a couple of chase down blocks, if I'm not mistaken,
yes, he did.
as well. Dellavedova hit some open shots. Chris Middleton, like it was just Tony Snell, and Tony Snell looked like a totally different guy with the Bucks than he did with the Bulls.
Should the Bulls have kept him? Was that a terrible trade by the Bulls?
That was stupid. Tony Snell actually can play basketball. He even had a nice little dunk, something I don't think I've ever seen Tony Snell do.
I don't know. Y'all were dogging him when he was over there, so I don't know.
It's just because it's because of Hoiberg.
It absolutely was. They just weren't using him right. I think Jason Kidd is using him right. And if anybody notices, look at that Milwaukee defense. Milwaukee is playing almost the same zone as the Dallas Mavericks did when they won the championship. They're also playing the same zone that the South Carolina Gamecocks played in the Final Four. That 2-3 matchup zone, the way they're rotating, is so perfect. And it gets a lot of guys off rhythm. They don't allow anything in the paint. And even your jumpers are toughly contested because Giannis, Chris Middleton, they have the lift to close out. So, I mean, the Bucks, honestly, I've said it, and I want to say it again. I think the Bucks and the Wizards have the biggest chance of upsetting the Cavs in the Eastern Conference.
And just imagine if they had Jabari Parker.
Oh my God!
Yes. Lance, what are your thoughts so far on this?
So honestly, I didn't see a lot of the game, but I did see live the DeRozan getting just absolutely destroyed by Giannis. That was and I've never seen Giannis like passionate like that, like angry, and I loved seeing that. I thought that was awesome. I was like, that's what I want to see in the playoffs.
I don't know. I think Gonzo's been on with him before. I don't know if you have, Lance, but our very own Mike Morris, he mentioned that on Facebook. I saw it like about DeRozan getting absolutely destroyed by Giannis, and then DeRozan was getting mad.
Yeah, he tried to do the whole hold me back thing, like he wanted. Come on, man.
Fake tough guy,
dude. Dude, just take the block gracefully, man. It happens to everybody, you know. It's just worse that you're down by like 20 or whatever, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't look for Toronto to get smashed again like that, but that really made me wonder if if they're really serious. Because I try to give them respect and have them going places in the East, at least for a little bit. But I don't know, man. That looks very faulty right there. I was befuddled.
I'm gonna go to Sammy now before I roast the Raptors. So I gotta get your thoughts on this. Is Toronto in trouble?
Yes, because this is Toronto always in trouble. I think Giannis is probably my favorite player in the East. So I have them winning in 6.
Nice.
I think I have a problem with I don't know what's in the water in Toronto, but I like their basketball team. I like their baseball team, and they always severely disappoint me in the playoffs. So really, I can't root for them anymore. They always lose.
Yes. You know what? I'm going to say this. Here's the biggest problem, and a stat came out today, and I didn't need this to just the eye test tells you it's true, but Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan are 2 of the 5 worst active players in field goal percentage in the playoffs. They're complete ass. It happened last year. Remember when they were talking about on TNT last year, they may need to bench Kyle Lowry because he can't make a shot. What happened? He couldn't make a shot yesterday. I think they shot like a combined 10 of 31 or something like that. That is god-awful. And it just continues. You cannot trust this team. Sammy's right. How can you trust these guys that they can't even shoot 40% from the field? The 2 best players on the team. Kyle Lowry is great in the regular season. We all laughed at Byron when we did our rankings of players, and he had Kyle Lowry 11th. We laughed. We clowned him. He was right. Kyle Lowry probably was a top 11, 12 player in the NBA this year. But come playoff time, these guys are ass. They're complete trash. And until that changes, you're in trouble. I know. It's true. It's absolutely true. Lance, have they been good in the playoffs?
I mean, in all fairness, they won 2 games. They won 2 games.
They won 2 games. But were Lowry and DeRozan,
yeah,
were they good in the playoffs?
They weren't. They had one of the worst.
No.
I mean, it was
They've been trash.
Kyle Lowry was like in the gym by himself at like 1 in the morning shooting, and they kept making that thing.
They have been garbage. It's awful. Like, for guys as good as they are, it's inexcusable. Right. And it continues to happen.
And they're supposed to be a good defensive team, too.
Yeah, and this is what that tells me. They're a regular season team.
Right.
They're not money basketball players when it counts. That scares me if I'm the Toronto Raptors. When my 2 best players don't step up when it really counts. I have to throw that out there. Call me a Raptor hater. I'm not. Anybody who listens to us, you'll see I've not hated on the Raptors all year. You know,
you're just calling them trash.
Yeah, I'm calling them trash come playoff time because they are. It's true. Okay. Yeah, that's true. They've been garbage.
Yeah, they
suck. I've had Thunder fans call me a hater. I've had Spurs fans now come after me. It is what it is, And I want to touch on this last thing today, because I had this person here, and I'm going to go to you first on this, Sammy. After I say this, I had a Spurs fan today, in this whole MVP talk, which we talk about almost every day on this podcast because it's such a hot topic. I had someone seriously tell me that Kawhi Leonard has basically no help. Not only have now I heard, so now not only does Kawhi not help, but also if you take Harden off the Rockets, they're going to win 50 games and be better than the Jazz and the Clippers. I've heard Russell Westbrook's help is complete trash. We all saw what Roberson did today and how good of a defender he is. I don't get it. I'm interested on your thoughts.
My thoughts are that the league never should have pushed out the MVP announcement till the end of June because people are losing their minds. These conversations no longer make any sense. People are cherry-picking stats and just saying things that don't make sense. It's like the election last year all over again. People are just like, I don't understand it. So
it really is.
I mean, there's a case
it really is like the election almost. And Lance, I know you're shaking your head, but I said it the other day, it's becoming really political like politics. It's kind of sad.
And here's the sad thing is that there's a case to be made for every single one of the 5 or so top 5 that are in the conversation for MVP. But you don't have to tear down the other 4 and make things up to they're all great, all 5 of them. So I don't know. People are just losing their minds.
I had to get your thought because I know how Lance and Gonzo feel because we talked about it the other day on that. But I had to get your – now, with that said, I have to ask you this. Who's your MVP?
James Harden.
Okay. No hate. If you would have said Westbrook, I wouldn't hate it. I have Harden. I think Lance has Kawhi, and I think Gonzo. Gonzo, you got Kawhi, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. But I got a question for you, though. If Russell Westbrook averaged 31, 9, and 9, will we still be talking about him as an MVP?
Yes. I wouldn't say he would be. I think he would be in the conversation. I don't think it would be like it is now, but he would definitely be in the conversation.
So because he averaged 1 more assist and 1 more rebound, he gets MVP, which is weird to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I think.
I'm going to tell you why. Go to the Sporting News and read. They gave their awards for the season, and look what they said about Russell Westbrook. He averaged a triple-double. He's the MVP. That was basically their argument.
Well, ESPN, most of them have Russell Westbrook as well. Like if you look, it's mostly Westbrook in there.
Yeah, and this is the one thing before we get off here, I want to say this. Going in after the Ibaka trade, right? They get Oladipo, you get Sabonis. The argument was this for the Thunder, and I'm defending his teammates, by the way, because I actually love his teammates.
Right.
Everybody who knows me knows this. The argument was, how can KD leave? They're so deep. They have so much depth, right? Now they're trash.
Yep.
I just don't buy it. I don't buy that argument. How do you go from being so deep to being trash? It makes no sense to me. No, they're not the Golden State Warriors, but they're not the Brooklyn Nets. They're not the Philadelphia 76ers. They've got good players. That's all I want. That's really my biggest argument with this MVP debate is, and then, I hear it all the time. Go ahead, speak.
Oh, I was going to say, I have a phrase for all of that. Alternative stats.
Yes. I've said that many times. That's exactly what it is. And I have a bone to pick. And some of you out there will know who I'm referring to, but on a recent episode of the Sim Hangout, a person said that Andre Roberson is trash on offense, which I agree, but he's just a good defender. I completely disagree with that. This guy is an elite defensive player.
All defensive, pretty much.
Yeah, I've got him. He's on my all defensive second team. You could make the argument he's first team all defense, right?
Right.
He has shut Harden down this year. Harden has shot under 40% all year against Andre Roberson. He shut Antetokounmpo down a couple weeks ago. Antetokounmpo, he didn't even play in the fourth quarter because Roberson was shutting him down so bad, and they were getting pounded. Roberson is an elite defender. The argument also was said he doesn't block a lot of shots and he doesn't get steals. The guy averages 1.5 steals and 1 shot block a game at the guard position on defense. Okay. That's all I have to say about that. He's, I had to throw that out there, and it's nothing personal towards this person because like I said on Twitter today, a couple of times on some forums, they've come at my guy and I had to attack him for it. You don't come at my guy like this. He knows his stuff. He's just wrong on Andre Roberson. Lance knows who I'm talking. You know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Westbrook gets a lot of steals too, but that doesn't mean he's great on defense. That just means he likes to risk things and get out of position. So steals don't always tell you if you're good at defense. Yeah,
I just wanted to throw that out there because I know I had to, and I hope I have an opportunity to go head to head with our guy on this one. Like I said, I'm not going to name names. Lance, you know who I'm talking about, right?
Shout out to Sim Hangout, my guy, to Czar. Shout out.
I'm not talking about Czar either.
I know. But I just want to give him a shout out.
Yeah, and Gonzo probably knows. I'll tell y'all offline who it is.
I know who it is.
Let y'all he's awesome. He knows his stuff. He's not one I attack because he knows his stuff. He's just wrong on this one.
Yeah. He's part of the RWDC.
He's an artist.
For those who don't know, that's the Russell Westbrook Defense Committee, which has been around for a couple years now. Well, probably more than that. But I had to throw that out there for our sim guys out there that are listening to this. Hopefully I get a chance to go head to head with this person, and he's probably going to try to make me look really stupid, and it'll be all in good fun because like our guy Keith Smith said, do never attack the person, attack the argument. And that's how it should be. And that's why I mentioned this MVP thing, because we have guys attacking people. Oh, you're dumb. You're an idiot. You're detached from reality. If you don't think Westbrook's the MVP, you're an idiot. No, you're not. You just have a different opinion.
Right.
Do not attack the person. Attack the argument. That's what I'm getting at here. With that said, I love my guy out there. Like I said, I can't name names, but we'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to do this each night during the playoffs. Maybe I'll miss a couple because I know it gets late. We get tired. It is tough to do, but I'm going to do this as much as possible. So everybody be on the lookout. I'm going to have different guests on. It's going to be a good time. We'll talk shit. We'll have a good time. But until next time, we will see y'all later.